Title: Single dad helps neighbor fix her tractor, she comes back in a jet to marry him and help his daughter. Channel name: The Heartfelt Story. She was just the girl next door, or so he thought. When single dad Brian helped fix her old, broken tractor, he never imagined she'd vanish for months, only to return in a private jet, dressed in white, with a ring and a promise that would change his life forever. What made her come back? What secret was she hiding all along? You won't believe how a single act of kindness turned a struggling father's life into something magical. Backhand index pointing right. If this story touches your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Heartfelt Story for more emotional tales that remind us what truly matters in life. The Tractor and the Stranger. Brian had long given up on love. After losing his wife in a car accident 3 years ago, his world had narrowed to just two things: his daughter Emma, and their tiny countryside home where time moved slow but bills moved fast. Every morning, Brian packed Emma's lunch and dropped her at school, then headed to his part-time job repairing old farm equipment. Life was simple, tough, and painfully quiet. One crisp autumn morning, he saw her. A woman struggling to start an ancient tractor in the field next door, the old Miller farmhouse that had been empty for years. She was clearly not from around there. Designer boots, glossy brown hair tied back with a silk scarf, and an accent that hinted of the city. She was muttering something under her breath, slamming the steering wheel, frustrated. Without hesitation, Brian walked over. "Need a hand?" he asked, wiping grease off his fingers. She hesitated, then smiled. "If you know anything about antique tractors, I could really use one." He rolled up his sleeves and got to work. 2 hours later, the engine roared to life. She clapped, her eyes lighting up with gratitude. "Thank you so much." "I'm Claire," she said, reaching out her hand. "Brian," he replied. "And that old thing's going to need a full tune-up if you want it to last through harvest." "Then I guess I'll be seeing more of you," she said, a twinkle in her eye. Over the next few weeks, Brian helped Claire with everything: tractors, fence repairs, even teaching her how to drive the old truck. Emma adored her, and Claire spent hours helping with homework and braiding her hair. Something about her felt warm, familiar. But just as quickly as she'd appeared, Claire was gone. One morning, Brian found a note on his porch. "Thank you, for everything. There are things I haven't told you. I hope you'll forgive me. I'll be back, if you'll have me." Brian folded the note and tucked it into his wallet, carrying it with him for months, never fully understanding what she meant. The jet, the ring, and the promise. Winter came and went, and Brian did his best to move on. Emma missed Claire terribly, asking often when she'd be back. Brian had no answers. Until one spring afternoon, as he and Emma returned from the grocery store, they heard a deep, thunderous hum above their house. A sleek white jet circled once, then descended at the private airstrip nearby. Brian squinted, shielding his eyes. "That can't be." Claire stepped out of the jet like a vision. In a crisp white dress, flanked by bodyguards and a driver, she walked straight to Brian's porch. "Claire," he whispered, stunned. She smiled, tears forming in her eyes. "I'm not just a girl with a broken tractor. My family owns one of the largest farming technology companies in the country. I came here to escape the pressure, to see what life was like when no one knew who I was." Brian stood frozen. "I never expected to find home here, or love," she continued. "You treated me like a person, not a brand. You helped me, asked for nothing. And Emma, she stole my heart too." She dropped to one knee. Not with a ring box, but with a folded adoption paper and a tiny velvet box. "Brian, will you marry me, and let me help raise Emma like she's my own?" Tears rolled down Brian's cheeks. He nodded, and Emma squealed, running into Claire's arms. The wedding was small, held under the old oak tree in their backyard. Claire turned the farmhouse into a haven. Brian was hired as director of rural operations at her company. Emma had a new mom, a bright future, and a home filled with laughter again. Sometimes, kindness is just fixing a tractor. And sometimes, it's everything. Backhand index pointing right. If this story warmed your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to the Heartfelt Story for more inspiring tales that prove love, kindness, and second chances are still alive in this world.